It's just never easy being a Vikings fan. I swear they try to make us like freak out. They try to make us watch the entire game for the entirety of it, and it's always right down to the very end. It's just I don't know. At this point, it's like we are going to watch. We know we are, but it's also kind of fun. But it also there's a pit in your stomach as the game comes to an end. But overall, the Vikings were able to get a 27-19 win over the New Orleans Saints today. And yes, we're bringing out our latest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts, because everybody has their own edition of it. Winners and losers, risers and fallers. Ours is Standouts and Fizzouts because players that stood out and players that fizzled out because pop. Yes, we think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it needs to replace all water. Doesn't matter. But hey, overall, let us know what kind of pop or soda you guys drink down in the comments section below, and we'll get started here. So standouts, number one, Josh Dobbs, to me, really had himself a solid game. Was he his old self? Was he Kirk Cousins, excuse me? No, but he did enough for the Vikings to win. 24 of 34 for 268 yards and a touchdown. Also was very effective in the run game. He also had 8 carries for 44 yards and another touchdown there. He looked unstoppable. Him and the rest of this Vikings offense looked unstoppable in the first half. It just looked like they were going to put up 50 on the Saints. But second half, we'll get into it. But overall, I mean, this team is ready to run behind Josh Dobbs, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's next man up. This defense is playing lockdown, and this running game, it's kind of coming together. Plus, we're going to get JJ back pretty soon. It's just, okay, baby, now it's time to go. TJ Hawkinson, I mean, he seemed to be the only guy other than Jordan Addison. I mean, Brandon Powell had a pretty good day as well. We'll get into him. But 11 catches, 134 yards, and a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, I mean, even though he was getting shot after shot after shot, he just absolutely rose up for the Vikings when they needed him most. And he's been an absolute stud this year as of late. He did have a little bit of a slow start, but this was a big TJ Hawkinson game that they needed, and they got it from him. Play calling from, between O'Connell and company was fantastic. I felt like, especially in the first half. This is definitely not in the second half. Awful in the second half. It looked like the Vikings offense was supposed to look. They were what we thought they were. This was one of those things where Kevin O'Connell and the offensive coaching staff put Josh Dobbs, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, all those guys in the right positions to win, and they absolutely got it done. Even the Wildcat there, where Ty Chandler ran it in. I mean, just innovative, creative, and things you love to see from the offensive side of the football in the first half. We'll get into the second half here in a second. Also, Jordan Addison, overall, he finished with a total of 4 catches for 69 yards. It is what it is, because he was very solid in the first half. After that, the entire Vikings offense sucked. But hey, they got it together. They got the win. That's all that matters. Ty Chandler needs to carry the football. We're going to make a video about it later in the week, but led the Vikings in carries with 15 for 45 and a touchdown. From the rest of the season moving forward, him and Kenny Nwangu need to be the starters. Alexander Madison has his place. I understand all of that, but Ty Chandler needs to be the guy. There, said and done. Mekhi Blackman, he had a pick there at the end of the game, but also just being there in coverage, he's been solid this year. You got to love the way that he's played. Between him and Jordan Addison, those have been 2 very good draft picks out of USC for the Vikings this year. You got to love it. Daniil Hunter, I mean, had another sack. What's that? Give him 10 for the year. He got that bonus that he was incentivized in the contract for as well. Just re-sign the man. I don't care. Just give him his money, let him do his thing, and go from there. Also, Kenny Nwangu, probably spelled his name wrong, almost probably said it wrong as well. He is a guy that needs to get the ball more. That's just what it is. I mean, whether it's screens, whether it's pitch outs, whether it doesn't matter. Needs to get the ball more and definitely needs to be more involved in the offense. Brandon Powell, Mr. Third Down himself. KJ Osborne was out for this game, but overall, Brandon Powell stepped up pretty nice. They had a couple of big third down catches there in the second half. 4 for 35 was Powell. And, he's proving to be kind of a security blanket that the Vikings absolutely need. Ivan Pace Jr. on defense, I mean, the rookie, he has impressed me all season long. Yes, there's been a couple of hiccups here and there, but who doesn't have hiccups? But finished with 5 total tackles, was in on the running game and did a whole bunch of different things. Also impacted the game via the blitz. I mean, he is definitely a next-level blitzer. Run defense, I mean, Alvin Kamara and the Saints were really not able to get a lot of rushing yards on the Vikings. Total, they finished with 65. Yes, a lot of that was game pace because, 24, 27, 3 at half. And, they weren't able to run the football. But the run defense did a very good job of bottling a guy he gave the Vikings problems a couple years ago. 6 touchdowns was Alvin Kamara a couple years ago. But overall, the run defense was very solid. Jonathan Bullard, he had a sack, that strip sack there in the second half. Also was solid in the running game. DJ Wanham, another sack. I think he's got 5 this year. I mean, there probably needs to be a team that pays him a lot of money next year. I don't know if it's the Vikings, but he's had himself a pretty good year. Jordan Hicks, when he was in, hopefully he's good to go next week with the injury and all that. But Jordan Hicks was solid. He continues to be that veteran leadership in the middle. Made a very nice cutback tackle on Alvin Kamara, but he just absolutely continues to get it done. The offensive line for the Vikings. Now, there was a couple of times that Josh Dobbs was pressured, but that's the absolute nice thing about having an athletic quarterback, is he can make you look pretty good. Overall, not a ton of hits. I think there was 4 total pressures, if I remember correctly. 1 sack by DeMario Davis. And to be completely honest with you, I mean, the offensive line played really good, especially from what we've seen in the past. Josh Metellus, I mean, whether he's blitzing and in coverage or just being an all-around just Swiss Army knife for the Vikings defense, he was a solid, had another solid game. He definitely has earned himself, that contract extension that he signed earlier in the season. Harrison Smith, I call him Smith because my dad always calls him Harrison Smith, but he is just, he's an absolute stud. He's been one of my all-time favorite Vikings, continues to get it done for him, and yes, he's the ageless wonder, if you will, but overall, had 5 total tackles for the team. He's everywhere in coverage. He is also everywhere in the blitzing game. He's everything you need in terms of a veteran leader, and he's been awesome for the Vikings again this year. Now, as for fizzouts, I understand that we kind of went over some of these, but I feel like there needs to be a reiteration of a couple of things. So for the fizzouts, the entire second half, whether it was offensively, those first couple of defensive drives where you allowed not 1, but 2 back-to-back touchdowns with a 2-point conversion. Unacceptable by this defense. I understand that, again, they're all professionals. They're all going to get theirs, but at the end of the day, your defense has to step up more. Also, penalties, really on the refs. Like, this was kind of weird because Danielle Hunter got his face mask like completely ripped off, and he got the flag on him. So I don't know what's going on. I think that the refs, in every single game, there's always at least 2 or 3 questionable calls that it's like, really? Okay. But overall, play calling was awful as well for Kevin O'Connell and company. I felt like Brian Flores did a pretty okay job in the second half, even though he did allow those touchdowns. But they did get turnovers. They did get to the quarterback, and they did shut some things down. But, I mean, the play calling by Kevin O'Connell, you were stagnant. You did not put your foot on the throat of the Saints and step down in any way in the second half. It's unacceptable. You can't do that against a good team. Alexander Mattison, I understand. He's a solid back. He is definitely a guy that, you can give 10 to 15 times. He'll get you yards. He'll be tough and all that, but he's not a game changer. Ty Chandler deserves to get the ball more. We're going to make a video about it later in the week, but overall, Alexander Mattison, no. Ty Chandler season, absolutely. Greg Joseph, this man, every time he lines up for a kick, I just sigh because I know what's coming. It's just, I'm going to knock on wood because Vikings and kickers never get along. But overall, just please, can we just figure it out? Can we assign a guy to the practice squad? Can we just bring it? I don't know. Just, it's rough. Byron Murphy Jr., I mean, got picked on all day long. Chris Olave came alive in the second half because they targeted Byron Murphy Jr., allowed, 2 touchdowns in coverage. Yes, he got an interception there at the end of the game. I don't care. I mean, he's just, you cannot single one-on-one Byron Murphy Jr. with anybody anymore. It's unacceptable. Jalen Naylor. So you have KJ Osborne out, you have Justin Jefferson out, and you only catch 1 pass for 16 yards. Now, I'm not really faulting Jalen Naylor for this because I think he caught everything that came his way, but I need more from him. I need to see more from him because he has been an absolute stud in the past for the Vikings. I've been really excited to see about his development, but I need to see more from Jalen Naylor. I think that he is a guy that really does bring a lot of excitement with him, and from there, the Vikings just, they need to incorporate him more into the offense. But hey, you know what? A win is a win is a win, as they say in the NFL, and it was very good to see the Vikings come out and get this one against the Saints because it's the Saints. But hey, at the end of the day, let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Standouts and Fizzouts. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below. Also, in the comment section, let us know what kind of pop you drink. Is it Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, Diet Dr. Thunder, whatever it is? Pop, the greatest thing since sliced bread, needs to replace all water. But at the end of the day, let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Vikings Standouts and Fizzouts against the Saints and the Vikings win over the Saints.